Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is Take It to the Hizzy Fantasy Football, TITTH number 211. I'm your host, Justin Bruni. I got my co-host, Imran Khan, with me this Sunday morning. Happy Sunday, sir. How are we doing? We got you muted still, boss.
Oh, not doing too good because I still don't know how to work the mute button, but I'm doing good, man. How are you?
No worries. Yeah, doing great. We're in week 13 here. This NFL season, it's moving by fast. Before you know it, we're going to be out of Sunday morning shows. We're going to be looking at, are we doing Saturday? Are we doing Sunday? Getting some Saturday games. We got some Christmas games coming up. So holidays are ready to roll through again. But We're kicking it over here at the Hizzy. Things are going good. We're about 11 days until Spider-Man comes out. Over under 1.5 Spider-Man in that movie.
I'm slamming the over.
Slamming the over? I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. It'd be a lot of fun that way. I would suspect.
Yep.
Pretty excited. I know that we both got our tickets. You had a little bit better luck getting the local area. What type of seats do you get when you're targeting tickets that early?
I ended up getting it for Saturday though. I didn't get it for the day of. So
Right.
for Friday, I think the tickets were they were really spotty. A lot of the theaters I saw around the area, like the Moco area, were like one tickets. They were, you couldn't even get two seats together. So I was okay with Saturday. I think at noon. So I was like, I can wait a day.
Yeah, I was trying to get Thursday night, Friday, because I didn't even realize this. When I was in college and in high school, a big thing was going to the midnight show. That's kind of gone by the wayside. They're just throwing it out Thursday at 4 p.m. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's do that then.
I was surprised by that. I probably would have done that had I known.
Yeah, they did that with a few of the previous Avenger movies too. I think Endgame was Thursday at noon, and I'm just like, all right, I can work with that. I'll figure that out. But yeah, all the times that you want to go in the night, Thursday night, Friday night, they're all gone. And I ain't sitting in the front row. I can't do it. That's kind of what I was asking you, is because man, I see these good times, but I got to sit in the front 2 rows.
I'm very excited for this movie too. So I was like, I'd rather wait a day and get seats that I like versus we're seeing it the day of and sitting like this the whole time.
Yeah, I hear you. No, we'll probably see it twice in theater, so that won't be an issue.
For sure. Yeah. For sure.
The only reason I don't like having to go to this other place, it's 20 minutes away, 25 minutes away. They don't serve alcohol in the theater. It's I've gotten kind of used to that. It's kind of nice.
Yep.
All right, cool. Let's dive into this week 13. Let's go over our best props. I'll go over my pick here of Saquon Barkley over 3.5 catches. Since coming back from injury, he has hit this mark in 2 straight games. So I like the likelihood there. Doesn't look like they're going to have Dan Jones today, so could be a very important and prominent safety valve for Mike Glennon today. Giants taking on the Dolphins. Imran, I see you're cooking up a nice big same game parlay. What do you got?
Yep. So kept it really simple here. Colts had a really tough loss last week to the Bucs. They did a great job fighting hard, but Brady won in the end. So for this week, they play the Texans. So I think they're going to bounce back. They've been doing a pretty good job against everybody. So I think they'll take care of the Texans. So I like the spread of -10 on the road. I like Jonathan Taylor to get 2 anytime touchdowns. So that's rushing or receiving.
Okay.
Over 110 rushing yards. The actual line was 105, but I said, fuck it. If he's going to get 105, he's going to get 110. So I bought it up to 110, which is plus money. And then Brandon Cooks, for as bad and inconsistent as the Texans have been, this guy seems to be scoring a touchdown every week and making big plays. I don't know how, because there's no other weapons. So I played it safe with him for over 50 receiving yards. So just 4 things you need to happen, right? Pretty good likelihood to happen. It's plus 812. So $100 would win you 800. $10 if you're a small baller. $10 would win you 81, which is not bad at all.
Oh, definitely not. What was that value on the Cooks yards alone?
I think I did -50, so it was an alternate receiving prop, so I could pick from a few options. I think that one was maybe -180, -200.
Okay.
I think for the game it's 60 something, but I was like, I don't want to sweat it out. I was like, I think 50s. I mean, I feel like he could get a big play and get it all in one play.
Right. Yeah, I really like the 50 yards and the touchdowns. Obviously, you need more help on the the double-digit spreads and the rushing yards, but those are very attainable. So I like it. I like it.
Cool.
All right, let's jump into our injury updates. I'll first go over the not expected to play. Imran can take the ruled out. And of course, if we have any updates throughout the episode, we will go over those. So first up, we've got not expected players to play today: Allen Robinson, Justin Fields, David Johnson, Sterling Shepard, Kadarius Toney, Jalen Hurts, and Corey Davis. We might be seeing some Minshew this week, Imran. We might be seeing some Minshew mania. Who are we looking at for players who are ruled out?
So for the Bears, we got Marquise Goodwin's been ruled out, Dalvin Cook. So if you're in playoff season, hopefully you got Alexander Madison on your bench. DeAndre Swift is also out, so hopefully you had Jamal Williams there. Jordan Howard, J.D. McKissick. Big loss for the Raiders as well. No Darren Waller today against the football team. Deebo Samuel's also out. Trey Sermon's out, but I don't even know if this is worth mentioning because he feel like he's been out since week 1.
Right.
Yeah,
he had some production a couple of weeks ago when Elijah Mitchell was hurt, but it was barely anything.
Yeah, it's tongue in cheek
total.
They barely used the guy.
So weird. Let's see. We got some comments in the chat here. Blake was asking who was the 50 receiving yards for. Brandon Cooks.
Brandon Cooks, Texans.
Yep. Cam saying Minshew Mania, let's go. And then Cam also referencing the Brandon Cooks again. Very good. All right. Now looking at, we got everyone who's ruled out. Game time decisions we still have up in the air: Josh Jacobs, Deshaun Jackson, James Robinson, OBJ, Darrell Henderson, Alex Collins, and Rashad Penny. Alex Collins and Penny both could be out of that game. I would stash DJ Dallas on your bench until they actually call the final inactives for that one. I think that might be a nice play today if those two are somehow unlikely be able to go. DJ didn't really have any value last week until garbage time, but he had like 4 catches on one drive. It was crazy.
Yeah, and it's a 4:00 game too. So if you're relying on either one of those, you want to make sure you got some type of plan in action, whether it's a Sunday, Monday night game or one of the other 4:00 games.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that those two are out because I would love to sit Devin Singletary for DJ Dallas, but I need a little bit more upside still. I still believe in the Bills offense. I know Matt Breida is coming in there chomping at the bit for more touches every week, but I'm going to wait and see. Is Zach Moss inactive again? Is he a healthy scratch? I'm going to wait and see out that situation in Seattle, and I'll kind of take it from there. All right. Let's jump into our morning flex. We got some quarterbacks up first here. First up, Imran, Tua Tagovailoa or Ben Roethlisberger? Who are you going with?
Tua. This is pretty easy. Ben's shell of himself. This is going to be a very ugly, typical AFC North slug-it-out battle. I think Tua, he's quietly been very efficient. I think he's on his last, I think it was like 60 passes or something. He's completed like 50. So he's got like an 81% completion percentage over the last couple of weeks. He's been getting better, like people give him a lot of shit, because he got so much hype coming out. But, as most young quarterbacks do, the more they get to play, the more they're in the same system, they start to get better. So I think against the Giants defense, who's going to have to, I know we're talking about him against the Giants defense, but also Mike Glennon is, going to be starting, so I could be short fields for Tua, so I'll go with Tua.
Yeah, I think he just has the safer floor in that matchup, hosting the Giants at home. I believe Pittsburgh is going on the road to Baltimore. I could be wrong, but
they're at home,
regardless.
Pittsburgh's at home.
Yeah, I was going to say, regardless, recency bias, you want to stay away from Ben Roethlisberger. He is just a shell of what he used to be. The offensive line has never really come around. There were some bright spots when they found some success, running on the ground, being able to get the ball to Najee Harris out of the backfield, but systems are down, and we'll be getting to the Steelers here in a bit. I'm completely off their radar for the rest of the season, whether it's betting, whether it's props. They're just a really hard team to trust right now. Confidence level is super low. I'm going to stay away from Ben Roethlisberger. All right, next up, we've got Carson Wentz versus Kirk Cousins. Which direction are you going here?
I got to go with Cousins, man. He's quietly been having a really good year. And when does Kirk Cousins shine? When he plays bad teams. He's playing the Lions, so I think he should have a good game, especially with no Dalvin Cook today. I know Madison's been pretty solid when they've used him, but I could see them air it out again a little bit more. And the Lions secondary is just so bad. It's just so bad.
Yeah, the Lions have been holding teams, pretty close games, but I don't think that's going to be the case this week. I really like the Vikings in that game. Kirk Cousins has thrown 10 passing touchdowns and just 1 interception in his last 5 games. So again, just rolling with the higher upside here. Carson Wentz has a good matchup too. I mean, he's going up against Houston. This could be a game where he throws multiple touchdowns and doesn't throw an interception. But in recent weeks, Kirk Cousins just has the better track record. So he's the guy that I'm going to trust this week. We got Justin in the chat saying start 2, J-Rob, Javonte, or Sony Michel. That's really tough. Obviously, you need to know if Darrell Henderson's going to be out of that game. Same kind of situation with James Robinson. I think Javonte is an easy start right there for sure. And I'd probably go J-Rob. Obviously, you also have to wait to see if he's healthy, but I would still probably lean James Robinson. What do you like there, Imran?
Robinson, we still don't know if he's going to be playing or not, so it's hard to say that. But Javonte Williams, we know Gordon's out this week, and with Henderson trending not being in this game as well, I like Sony Michel too because it's a Sony Michel type of game where I think they're going to get up early on the Jags and they'll just start pounding it away in the second half and try to get out with the win because I think they're on a 3-game losing streak now for the Rams. They were 7-1 and they lost 3 in a row now. They need a win in the worst way.
I mean, if there's a tune-up game of all tune-up games, this is it. Jaguars at home,
Yeah,
even if
that's what the Bills thought a couple of weeks ago too, right?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. And yeah, it is 3 in a row. Or I'm sorry, the Rams have lost. Oh, both teams have lost 3 in a row.
Yeah.
So Rams, Green Bay, San Francisco, Tennessee, Jacksonville, obviously a couple levels below that rate of competition. But we'll see what we get here. I mean, we'll get into the game preview here in a bit. I will not have the Jags covering still, but at the same time, I'm also not going to be betting on it because it's a huge double-digit spread. Let's see. We had Blake in the chat saying CJ Ham, anytime touchdown. Shit. Throw $5 on it or 2. Sage says all he sees is goats. Said he had a buddy hit this prop a couple times with no Cook. It makes sense. CJ Ham to come in and spell Madison, and I like that in the red zone, so I like that mindset there. We got Anestra saying good morning. Morning, sir. Happy Sunday. They say J-Rob is planning to play. Hendo, they say, is not optimistic to play. Sad face on Hendo. I would still probably lean J-Rob in that game. He's just going to get more usage. I would still assume that they want to get the passing game rolling. Seeing that's tough. This has effect on starting Matt Stafford and Matt Gay, and the guy I'm playing has Van Jefferson. Ooh, well, maybe you need to start Michelle then. I still like J-Rob more. All right, moving on. Excuse me. We're going to get into the running backs and receivers. Just need to get it on the board here. So first up, we've got David Montgomery versus Miles Sanders versus Tyler Lockett. Which way you going?
Let's see.
This one's tough. I don't like any of these guys this week, to be honest.
Yeah, neither do I, really. Sanders is I love Sanders, but, I mean, they just don't use him. I mean, maybe this is the week they use him with no Jalen Hurts. They rely on him. I'm going to go with Montgomery as 1, only because I don't like his matchup, but I think the offense is going to have to go through him today with no Fields, no Allen Robinson. I think he's going to get the most volume. Sanders has a really good matchup, but I just don't trust him. And Tyler Lockett, ever since Russ he just hasn't looked good, right? He's got to turn it around eventually, but when? So
to be fair, he did have over 90 receiving yards last week and over 100 the week before, but it's like 3 or 4 catches. The volume's really low. So do you go with something like that, which I feel is a safe floor, or do you? I don't even know. I don't feel like it's safe to say Montgomery or Sanders fall into the end zone. You know what I mean?
That's very fair, but when you're relying on 100 yards, 90 yards off of 3 or 4 catches, what if he falls down on one of those bombs? Right. Or what if the defender knocks it away? Right, that's your one shot at it with Montgomery. What I'm hoping is they just feed the ball. He should have between 20 and 30 touches today. He hasn't had a touchdown in a very long time. It's just it's really just him and Mooney on the offense, right? So it's got to go through him. And like I said. Yeah, so I don't feel great about it. I could see this going in a variety of different orders, but give me Montgomery, Lockett, and then Sanders.
So I'm going to go Sanders, Lockett, and Montgomery. And that's only because I'm scared that the Bears aren't going to be as efficient on the ground without Fields in the lineup, because you can go a little bit more one-dimensional on the Bears when you're playing defense when Dalton's under center. You know that he's not going to have that extra layer to his offense where he's going to roll out and beat you for 15 yards. And when that's the case, when you have not a run first, but a quarterback who can run, who is mobile under center, there's a lot more likelihood for success for that running back. So I'm gonna fade him in this spot. I don't love it. This could be a week where they're down early and he might just get game scripted out too. I'm a little bit worried about that spread. Really just us getting beat up on big time this week, but not like that's abnormal. Yeah, so give me Miles Sanders there. I really love the matchup up against the Jets, and they could lean on him a little bit more, like you said, with Hurts out. Maybe there's a couple extra catches to go around with Minshew, not necessarily being able to get the ball down the field or make his reads, and just makes those simple and safe plays. We'll see what happens there.
Yep.
All right, next up, we've got Davonte Freeman, Damian Harris, and Van Jefferson. I think Van Jefferson's a home run pick here. What do you think?
I think so too. Of these three, I like his chances again. So shitty Jacksonville secondary, and like I said, the Rams need this game. The Rams do a great job of blowing out the shitty teams, right? So I like him. He had a great play last week, especially if Odell Beckham doesn't play. That just opens up the targets. And we already heard about Henderson
Absolutely.
playing. Second, I'll go with Damian Harris. Because I like the Bills defense, but I think he's going to get a good amount of volume. That game tomorrow is supposed to have really shitty weather, and I think they're going to lean on him heavy. Freeman is third. I just, the Ravens offense, you just don't know.
No, that's fair, especially with the running game there. You don't know if Lamar's going to be, taking the keepers to the house, if he'll, dink one to Freeman in the passing game, some red zone usage, whatever it is. I would put him second behind Van Jefferson. Van Jefferson's had 5+ targets in six straight weeks, So I really like his upside this week. Like you mentioned, OBJ might be out. Higbee didn't have a very good performance last week. I expect he'll be better. But because of that extra opportunity, D. Hendy's a little beat up as well. I think there's some more touches and opportunity for him this week. And he's already been taking advantage of the opportunities he's had across the last 5 games. So I really like him this week. I would go, Freeman last, Harris second. I still like that matchup up against Buffalo. Jonathan Taylor and company really put one on them. They've been bleeding yards on the ground. Probably the worst aspect of their team is their rushing defense right now. So I'll go Jefferson, and then I'll go Dame, and then Freeman. All right, we've got dude in the chat asking, "Good morning, y'all. Do I start Connor or Clyde Edwards-Helaire?" Tough matchups. Bears D and Denver D.
Doley.
Oh, Bob Dole. I always forget Bob Dole.
I'm going to probably go with...
I go Edwards-Helaire. Higher total in that game.
I'm thinking Connor myself, actually. The Bears' run D has been very suspect. It's going to be it is Kyler's first game, or it looks like it's going to be Kyler's first game back, but the Bears' run D is bad. I feel like they're going to ease Kyler into it. I know the Bears should have Roquan today, but their run D has been really bad all year. So I think Connor would be my play. And I think he's got some good touchdown upside too. And then for tight ends, I think both have good matchups this week. I like Kaseki against the Giants defense, and I like Ertz against the Bears. The Bears tend to struggle against tight ends.
How's Roquan looking? I haven't gotten his status this morning.
He's listed as questionable, but I saw some video from him at practice. He looks good. Like, he looked better than I thought he would. So he's probably going to play, but it's just, I'm not really worried about Roquan and Jalen Johnson on that defense. It's just, if Ertz gets matched up with anybody else, I think he's going to beat him, especially if they get into the red zone. So if I said Connor, I'll go with Kaseki here, but I'd say Ertz is a very close one.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go Kaseki, just the target share and the volume and the snaps. He's again used more like a receiver. I like that matchup more so. I like the matchup up against the Giants more so.
Yeah.
McBride in the chat asking what's going on, fellas. Couple questions for you. Hawkinson or Freiermuth? That one's easy. I'm going Freiermuth all day, every day.
I'm going Hawkinson, actually. I'm going Hawkinson in this one.
Yeah, Freiermuth is one of the top 5 tight ends across the past 4 weeks, so I'm just going recency there. Detroit, you can't trust Detroit. All right, start 2 out of 3: Mooney, Mike Williams, and David Montgomery. Give me Mooney for sure, and I'd probably lean Mike Williams. The same reasons that I mentioned earlier that I would be fading David Montgomery this week. Great for season long, just not a great matchup this week going up against the Cardinals. I think he's going to get game scripted out early.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be playing from behind, chasing points. So I like the Mooney play there more so than Montgomery.
I'm going to go with Montgomery and Mike Williams. I just think the volume is going to be there. I also notice when Dalton's in, for whatever reason, that's when Nagy remembers he can run running back screens and throw the ball to his running back too. They've been, I think the Bears are the worst in the NFL in receptions by running backs, which makes zero fucking sense. But
absolutely makes zero sense. And what he also does is play Damiere Byrd. Where the hell did that come from?
Yeah, 2 good running backs in Herbert and Montgomery who can both catch the ball, which would make a lot of sense for a struggling offense. Do some dump downs, but I'm just I could fall flat on my face and Montgomery have 0 catches, but I feel like the way this game is going to go, Montgomery should have 20 to 30 touches. And I think Mooney. I feel like you and everybody knows Mooney's the only threat on that offense right now.
Right.
And I feel like they're gonna try to put Byron Murphy on him and kind of try to take him away. But Mooney's got back-to-back 100-yard games, right? He's been actually if you go back to the Steelers game, he's been on quite a hot streak. I think he's got 4 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns in his last 3 games, and a ton of yards. But actually, I'll switch. I'm going to go with Mooney and Mike Williams. I'm going to ride the hot hand.
All right. Yeah, that's what I was getting at. He really seems like he's got the connection with Dalton. It's that Dalton also has the connection, with freaking Demir Bird. I don't get any of that.
Yeah.
We got Steve. Good morning, sir, in the chat saying Antonio Gibson under 17.5 rushing attempts today. I don't know. I might be taking that over. You'd have to let me know the recency on that, Steve. I don't know. I don't know the trends. I don't have that up on me here. I might be taking the over on that. I don't know. Give me a reason not to. All right. Next up, we've got some receivers. Get the switch over here. I know we got Jerry Judy. Yeah, Jerry Judy, Elijah Moore, or Devin Singletary. I like Elijah Moore out of this group.
So do I. I like Elijah Moore. Jerry Judy's still coming into his own. I think I have him a second. Devin Singletary, I can't trust any of these Bills running backs. You just can't.
Yeah, I was mentioning earlier, the situation up there is really, really tough to gauge. I'm in a situation where I'm going to either hold Devin Singletary in my lineup or I'm going to pull him for DJ Dallas. I'm going to wait for the inactive list to come out for the afternoon games, and that works out for me timing-wise because Singletary does have the afternoon game. I do not like him out of this segment of 3. Jerry Judy coming on, man, I hope that's the term for what he's doing right now. That's for sure. If he's really warming up for something special for me, that would be great because it's been super underwhelming since he came back from injury. And that first half that he had up against the Giants in week 1, I think he had like 6 or 7 targets for 5 catches. That was very deceptive for what I thought his season was going to be. So that really hurts. I feel like we didn't really get what we were supposed to get out of him this season based off of that injury. So definitely staying away from him. Elijah Moore's been cooking 6 straight targets in 6 straight games, 4 TDs across that same stretch. He's really been coming on for them. So I feel more confident that Elijah Moore is going to be more reliable than those guys this week. All right, next up here, we've got Russell Gage versus the Buccaneers, Tyler Boyd versus the Chargers, or Rex Burkhead versus Indianapolis. You laugh, but Rex Burkhead, he's got a real workload, and they might also be missing David Johnson this week. It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't like it. I'm going to probably go with Gage. Yeah, a Gage as one. I feel like the Falcons are going to be trailing. They are at home, so maybe you get production there. Boyd is going to be my number 1. I think him in the slot, I think they're going to focus really on Chase like defensive doing. I think he's going to have a chance to eat. So I'm going to go Boyd, Gage, and then Burkhead.
I'm going to go with Gage. The volume has been there. He's playing the most snaps of the receivers there. He has 8 and 7 targets in his last 2 weeks. I think he has a touchdown across that stretch as well. The yards, the targets have been there. I'm just going on the volume here because I don't love any of these. Boyd doesn't have the best matchup. The Chargers have actually been pretty sneaky good against the pass, and it's just really hard to notice it because they're so terrible up against the run. They rank last on the ground, but their corners, they've been shutting down quarterbacks, top 5 in the league for passing yards against. So I'm going to fade him in that spot. Give me Gage there. All right, we got Bambo in the chat asking flex Miles Sanders or Devonta Smith. That is a good one. It's really tough to know without who's playing quarterback. In that matchup, I go Miles Sanders because the Jets are also very, very bad up against the ground.
Yeah, I go with the running back in that case.
You agree? You're going with Sanders?
Yeah, I go with Sanders. And then looks like Eli Mitchell or Gibson.
Yep.
I go Gibson. I like that matchup better. The Seahawks, I don't know why. I feel like every Seahawks-Niners game is a defensive battle, low scoring. There's not a lot of upside.
To be perfectly honest, I want to start both of them and not start Miles Sanders. So if that's on the same roster, Bam, then I like. Do you like that more?
I would do that too. Yeah.
Yeah. So just Gibson and Mitchell rather than Sanders. Yeah, I think that's the best play if that's possible. If that's on the same team or whatever. Then we got Squid Giant Chode in the chat asking half-point PPR, Knox or Higbee. I'm liking Higbee for the game environment. Higbee was 1 for 5 last week on targets. I would assume that he is going to have a bounce back game. The Bills, Knox, tough to trust. When they get in the red zone, they love to target Knox. Just is he going to finish in there? I'll go Knox.
Yeah, I'm going to go Knox too. He's just a touchdown. That's all he does.
Yeah.
It's literally all he does. He gets touchdowns. And I think he's got like almost 10 and he's missed like a month season 2. So I'm going to go with Knox.
Yeah, I agree. Delusional Tanner in the chat asking, I'm tilting hard here, 6-6, fighting for a playoff spot, half-point PPR, D-Hop, Miles Sanders, Pittman, or Lockett. Only one. Ouch. Ouch, 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 ouch,
I'm
ouch.
gonna go with Pittman myself. You would normally say D-Hop one. I don't think they've officially said if he's gonna play or not. He's kind of leaning towards maybe being out.
That's
and if
tough.
he does play, he just came back after a month off. Sanders,
Right.
I think we've beat that into the ground at this point. Love the talent. You have no idea what he's gonna get. Pittman's been pretty solid. So has Lockett. I feel like it comes down to Lockett or Pittman.
I think it's between those two. I would say it's Pittman over Lockett. I didn't really have Lockett on the radar here, so I would rank these. Oh man, I'm still going to go D-Hop number 2. I'm not going to put him number 1, but I'm going to go Pittman, D-Hop, because if he's starting, that dude's also a touchdown machine. Even when he was playing, he didn't get a lot of targets, but when he got into the red zone, huge target for Kyler. But I'm still putting him number 2. I still like Pittman. Pittman's the guy in this group that could go off for 7, 8, 9 catches for 100 yards and a touchdown. I don't expect D-Hop to have that day, but D-Hop is probably still the most likely on this list to score multiple touchdowns. So give me Pittman, then D-Hop, then Sanders, then Lockett. That's a tough one. Wish you could start 2 of them. That's for certain. All right. Let's see. I think we're wrapped there. Let's get over to the tight ends, and then we're going to move on to our picks for the week. So another Higbee question, Higbee or Tyler Conklin? I think that Tyler Conklin has the safer floor, but Higbee has the higher potential ceiling. What do you think here?
I'm going to go with Higbee. I think there's going to be more opportunities. The last time you would think the Vikings and Lions would be a high-scoring game. The last time they played, I think it was only 1917, and the Vikings went on last-second field goal. So, divisional opponents usually play close. So I don't think there's going to be a lot of opportunity for Conklin. I think there's going to be a lot for Higbee, especially with no Odell, no Henderson possibly as well, playing a bad matchup at home. They need this win. I'm going to go with Higbee. And like you mentioned last week, he was 1 for 5, unfortunately, on targets, but he did get 5 targets. So they are looking.
Okay. Yeah, I think that Conklin is just a safer play this week, kind of like with the Tanner situation where he's tilting 6-6, playing for the playoff spot. Many people could be in there. I like Conklin to find the end zone this week. No Dalvin Cook usage, inside the 5-yard line. Blake was in the chat mentioning CJ Ham. I feel like Tyler Conklin should kind of be on that short list for an anytime touchdown prop today. With Cook out there, they've got to find other options when they get down to the goal line.
Yep.
All right, next up, we got Mike Kaseki versus the Giants or Dallas Goedert versus the Jets. I like Kaseki still here. We talked about him a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I'm probably going to go with Kaseki as well. With Minshew, first start as an Eagle, I don't trust him. I mean, I don't know what that's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be heavy run. I just too much uncertainty for me. I would go with Kaseki. He's been a safe guy all year.
Yeah, if he is going to be playing, if Minshew is in there, I sure hope he finds a way to target Goddard, because I have to start Goddard where I have him, so I don't really have a choice. But between the two, I will definitely lean towards Kaseki there. Again, the usage, the volume, the targets, it's all there. I think it's the writings on the wall for that one. We got Squid Giant Chode back in the chat. Kamara, Mike Carter, and McKissick all injured, so got Breida in my RB2. Any waiver pivots you like? Choices are Mike Boone or DJ Dallas. I spoke about Dallas earlier in the show. I'm kind of in a similar situation. So I like him if Penny and Collins are out. Now, to be clear, if Collins is in and Penny is out, that does not mean that DJ Dallas is just going to have a lot of usage. Like, that's not the case. That was a situation last week where Collins was banged up. He had a questionable tag. He got healthy. He got right. He started the game, and he was used exclusively on first and second downs. DJ Dallas was used on third downs, but he did absolutely nothing with it until garbage time. He was getting carries on third and shorts, couldn't do anything, going backwards. He was getting, just carries on third downs. That's it, because he wasn't touching the field other than that. And for most of that night, he was going backwards. He had a handful of catches to finish off that game, but really nothing to write about. If both of those guys are out, then he's got a real workload. He's going to be used as their RB1. So Mike Boone, that's kind of like that CJ Ham territory. I feel like you need a touchdown to make your day. Is there any other guys that you might think of, Imran, other than what he's listed here?
I know.
Rex Burkhead?
Maybe if you want to throw something out there, but running backs are scarce as it is, and running backs on the waiver wire in week 14, week 13, it's going to be rough, man. I mean, those are probably your best bets. I mean, I don't hate Breida. I mean, Breida has been on a hot streak. I mean, there's nothing wrong with him. But I would probably go with Dallas, like you mentioned, if the two Seahawks running backs are out. The benefit here is Breida plays tomorrow, and Dallas plays at 4, so you might be able to get that. But I mean, I don't know what else would I do. Burkhead maybe, maybe one of the Jets running backs like Ty Johnson or Tevin Coleman. I mean, I don't know.
Actually, I kind of forgot about this Breida aspect of this. I just thought we were talking about guys you could just pick up. So honestly, Breida's been getting the touches, the meaningful touches in Buffalo. I really don't hate just starting him outright.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that they've been trying to get a running back for that offense. They tried Singletary, they got Zach Moss, and they're just guys. They're not making an impact. And Breida has. I mean, if you look at his game log real quick, just look at his last few games. I think that's what's really key here.
He's just been getting the touches, man.
He's just getting the touches. I mean, if you look at it, we'll go back the last few weeks. That's when he's really come out. He was kind of and just disappeared for a while, but week 10, till now, he's got a touchdown. I mean, he's got and against the Jets, he had only 6 total touches, but 2 touchdowns. Then against the Colts a couple weeks ago, he had just 6 total touches, no touchdowns. So it's kind of And then last week against the Saints, 1 touchdown and 11 total touches. And tomorrow's game is going to be one of those, I think, grinded out games because they're saying it's going to be a lot of snow up there in Buffalo.
Nice, let's go.
I think he's going to get – and he's a speedster too, so if he gets like a wheel route or some type of check down and makes a guy miss, like that could be a 5-yard pass turned into a 40-yard pass. So, I just don't think you should overthink it. Like he's got a touchdown, at least 1 touchdown in 2 of the last 3 games, and 2 of the last 3 games is when he's kind of been coming up, and that's a game they need tomorrow. They need that game tomorrow to keep the division.
I'll throw it to you like this then. If Penny and Collins are both out, do you go DJ Dallas over Breida then? Because there's no competition for touches.
Yeah, I think then I would go with Dallas because he's getting all the touches. And again, that's going to be a grinded out game where I think he's going to get featured a lot. He could get 20 touches in that game.
Yeah. I would hope so.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the game previews here. First up, we've got the Minnesota Vikings traveling to Detroit. Vikings come in as road favorites, -7 on the spread, -315 on the money line, and the over-under in this game is at 46.5 points. I am leaning towards the under here. I think I buy that up to 47 or 48 and smash the under. What do you like on the total and the game?
Yep, I'm the same way. I'm going to go with the Vikings until the Lions decide to do anything to make me think otherwise. Currently, right now, you got the, it's a 7-point spread. I think the Lions might actually cover it. They're at home, right? They play close, like I mentioned last time. And just for comparison's sake, if you want to see what trends are going on right now, let me see where these games are. I was just looking at this game, actually. The Vikings game right now for the spread, you got 68% of the money is on Vikings -7. 98% of the money is on the Vikings money line. Take with that what you will. We're just sharing the numbers.
I like Minnesota to outright win. I don't want to trust the spread just because of how close Detroit has played their competition.
Exactly.
I'm going to be playing the under. I am taking the under 48.5. So I bought that up a couple of points. And to me, that's just the biggest narrative that I can predict here. Like, I can't tell you if Detroit will keep it close. They shouldn't. You know what I mean? But they haven't won a game yet. They've tied. Winning a game doesn't really hurt their draft aspects. They're going to be a top 3 selection in the draft. So, they're going to be playing at home. That's just really what you have to buy into in this game. Are the Lions going to show up? Are they going to, try to actually win one? I don't think so. I really don't think that this team has it in them. I still like the Vikings to win outright, but I don't know. 7 points feels like a lot to the Lions, who have kept games really close. They should have beat Pittsburgh. They should have.
Yeah. And then no, keep going. I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying, and last week they lost by 2 to the Bears. Like, it's not like that was an unimpressive loss. You know what I mean? Like, they kept the game close.
They begged to lose that game by doing some questionable. They basically begged the Bears to win that game by doing some stupid shit at the end, like calling back-to-back timeouts. But I think
Cleveland, even the week before that, they lost by 3.
They've covered 3 straight games.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the touchdown is hard to trust, but we could also be in a situation where the Lions who play the Eagles after the Rams show up. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. That's when everybody's like, "Oh, the Eagles are going to get destroyed." Eagles came in and beat them by 40. Like, it wasn't even close. Like, I was one of the people that got burned on. I was like, "Oh yeah, Lions look great," but because they didn't play with that same energy, they didn't go all out like they did for that Rams game. That was their Super Bowl.
Exactly, and that was a week prior. So it's just like, is this the week that the Lions revert back to that team? That's just like, you know what? It's December, like Christmas is coming, game checks are here. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, it's really hard to predict. So I do not feel comfortable betting that spread. I really like the under 48.5. And of course, we both like the Vikings outright because Detroit hasn't won a single game all year. So keeping that, trying to keep that one simple.
Exactly. I keep it simple until the lines prove you otherwise. And I mean, when you look on paper, right, no weapons, no DeAndre Swift, Hawkinson's by himself. He's just been kind of I just don't see it. I like the under as well. I like the unders, and I'll say the Vikings cover the 7.
Fair enough. All right, next up, we've got the Cardinals traveling to the Bears. Cardinals come in as road favorites, -7.5 on the spread, -330 on the money line, and the over-under in this game is at 42 points. Can we hit the over? I mean, we have a terrible record to the over, but I feel like, the Cardinals can do their part. I feel like we can throw in 14-17. What do you think?
I don't think so, man. And, the over opened up at 46, and it's down to 42. Depending on where you're looking down, because the Bears offense, it's hard to trust them, and it's hard to know what you're going to get from the Cardinals either. Bears games usually have gone under, so I'm going to say the under here. I just think it's going to be one of those games.
That number has only gone under, or the Cardinals have only gone under that number once in their last 4 games. They did have a 31-5 victory over Houston. 31-5. I don't remember that one. But yeah, for the most part, they're 5-6 to the over. Definitely have a more trending record there. The Bears just 3-8 to the over. I don't know. I just feel like we could put up 14-17 this week. I know you mentioned the weather, but I'm only seeing like 50 degrees here, 66% chance rain. I don't know. 95% cloud coverage.
I think 13 to 14 miles an hour, I think, though.
Well, wind I see up at 15. Wind I definitely see up at 15.
That makes the difference, though. Like that actually is worse than like the rain. Rain, you might get lucky, somebody falls down, but when the wind's in effect, you can't really throw downfield as much. And again, it's No,
I'm not sold one way or the other. My gut tells me to lean towards the over 42, but I have no active money bet on it. Full disclosure. What do we think about the spread? I mean, I don't know. I feel like this one could be where the Cardinals are covering for a while and the Bears get like a garbage time touchdown and blow us off on that half point.
Yeah, I just don't get it that, like this opened up at 7 and hasn't moved at all this week. And people have been hammering the Cardinals. I just don't get it.
Well, that's the thing. They can't be. People have to be hammering the Bears to keep the number where it's at because the money line keeps backing up.
Yeah, I mean, well, right now what I'm looking at is, you got 74% of the bets are on the Cardinals -7, and 91% of the total money that's wagered is on the Cardinals -7. So
that's
it's
weird.
heavy. It's heavy on
that's
the Cardinals.
Weird.
The public's all over the Cardinals. So I say the Bears cover the 7.5. Is there a good reason for it? Absolutely not. But they have a good job of doing stuff you don't expect. And I don't think they're going to win outright, but I think this might be one of those games where we're talking about next week. Like that game was really weird. Like you might see because of the wind, balls get intercepted, field goals get missed. Like, but I think, on paper, the Cardinals should win. They're a better team. Bears are just banged up all over the place, but stranger things have happened.
Another caveat to this, the -7.5 per betonline.ag for the Cardinals, it's paying plus money, plus 100. Little sportsbook psychology there. I mean, there has to be money coming in on the Bears. I don't know like how or when those numbers update, but I would check back closer to kickoff, and I have to imagine there's some movement there because the Bears, they're actually favored now on the spread, -120 to the +100 to the Cardinals to cover the 7.5. There has to be money coming in on them. Otherwise, this spread would go up to 10, 12. I don't know.
I don't know if it's sharp money or what, but yeah.
Yeah. All right, moving on here. Buccaneers traveling to the Falcons. Bucks come in as road favorites, -11 on the spread, -500 on the money line, and the over-under is at 50.5. I am smashing the under here. The Falcons have been cashing unders in about 3 or 4 weeks in a row now. I've cashed in on 2 of them, so I'm going to keep going back to the well until they give me a reason not to. But what do you like? Do you like the spread here? Obviously not a lot of value on the money line. What do we think about the points?
I like the Bucks and the points. The Bucks, had a good win last week, and I think they need to continue to stack these wins up, try to get back and back on the ship and get back into that conversation for that 1 seed. So give me the Bucks to cover the 10, and I'm going to go with the under here. I just don't think the Falcons are going to be able to do their part.
Yeah, it's actually 4 out of their last 5 games have gone under this number. I don't trust their offense right now. I don't trust Matt Ryan, Russ Gage, Cordell Patterson. That's about it. I mean, in fantasy, like, do you even trust Kyle Pitts at this point?
No, and it's nothing to do with Kyle Pitts either. I just think the offense
Oh
just
no.
is, yeah, it's just not good.
Oh, completely stagnant. They had those 3 touchdowns versus the Jaguars. That was their only 3 touchdowns across the last 3 weeks. So I think
Yeah.
they could be in trouble. I'm not saying they're going to get shut out again, but they were shut out 2 weeks ago up against the Patriots. And I think that this Bucs defense, while it may not be as good, it's still like in that same kind of threshold, right? Like top 10, top 15. They're gonna make some work today. They're gonna make them work today. Yeah. So we both agree on the under there. 11. Do we buy that down to 10? Does that make us look smart? Like, what are we doing here?
No, I'm fine. I mean, I'm seeing it at 10.5, 10 most places, so
Okay.
I'm fine sticking with that.
All right, sounds good. All right, next up we have the Indianapolis Colts traveling to the Houston Texans, coming in as road favorites. A lot of favorites here on the road, heavy favorites on the road. -10 to the Colts, -430 on the money line, and the total here is at 44.5 points. I think that's an over that I like. The Texans have showed us in recent weeks that they can put up some points. Not many, but they can put them up. What do you think?
Yeah, I think right here, I'm going to probably stick with the under here.
Okay.
It's two teams that know each other, right? The Texans' offense, as we've talked about, is pretty limited. Not a lot going
Mm-hmm.
on there. Colts, they're really big on having Jonathan Taylor control the game. This is another game they need to stay in this
Mm-hmm.
playoff hunt. So I'm going to take the Colts -9, and I'm going to go with the under in this game as well. I just think
Okay.
their defense does a good job of limiting the Texans, and the Texans had their handfuls last week at home against the Jets.
Right. When I look at these teams that we just talked about, because these are some pretty big spreads, 7 points to the Vikings, 7.5 to the Cardinals, 11 to the Buccaneers. When I look at this one, obviously we still get double digits. We're, going 10 points to the Colts here. But of those teams, I don't know. Like we talk every week, like, not that we don't know the league, but you don't know what to expect out of teams. I feel like of those teams that we've mentioned so far, the Texans would be the team most likely to, do some damage and put up points because they really don't care. They come up with some unique play calling. We could see a defensive touchdown. Carson Wentz, he's not Mr. Perfect. I feel like they can play their part. I'm not saying they're going to be close in this game or that they're going to cover, but I feel like they can score 17 to 21 points. Call me crazy.
Cool.
All right. Next up, we've got the Eagles and the Jets. Not really sure what we're getting out of this one at the quarterback position for the Eagles. Could be Minshew, could be Hurts. Right now, we have a 5-point spread in favor of the Eagles on the road. Another road favorite here.
It is Minshew, by the way. It is Minshew.
They've confirmed it
last night. Yeah. Last night they're like the Hertz is out.
Okay, gotcha. So yeah, Eagles at the 5 points, -215 on the spread. Over under is at 43.5 points. That's a tricky one here. Do we trust Minshew to handle business? I mean, the Jets won on the road up against Houston last week. Are the Eagles now in that same tier without Hurts at quarterback? Because he's really been the identity of their whole offense, operating that run game. He was kind of that start first guy for that playbook.
Yeah, I'm with you as well. Like I think that Hurts being out for the Eagles is really bad. That was the offense, all levels. He's kind of been running everything for them.
Mm-hmm.
Minshew, you just don't know what you're going to get. His first game as an Eagle. The only thing I really feel comfortable with in this game is the under. I just think it's going to be a really sloppy game between these two teams. I think trying to find their way through it. The Jets are getting +5, so I'll take it. I'll take the +5.
Yeah, I'm going to take the +5, and honestly, I'm going to take the Jets outright to win. They showed us some unique stuff. I think Robert Saleh is starting to really get through to Zach Wilson. I feel like he might have that playbook down now. I'm gonna go with the Jets here to upset. Call me crazy. Catching up in the chat here, got Driscoll up in here saying upset alert. Lions win by 6. Well, don't tell me, tell your bookie. Going to be rainy and cold in Chicago. Under for the Bears game for sure, he says. Appreciate all the insight, gentlemen. Get a prayer up for my man K1, a.k.a. Thanos, for a 35 bomb. Totally. Thanos was right. I don't know where you're going with that. All right. Next up, we've got the Chargers and the Bengals. This should be a fun one, headlining a couple of young gunslinging quarterbacks. We got the Chargers coming into Cincinnati. Road dogs, finally, +3 on the spread, +135 on the money line. Over under is at 49.5. Are we getting fireworks here, Imran? Are we buying this down and taking the over?
Yeah, so again, just to add a little sprinkle, I'm just mainly mentioning the spreads that I think are the information that I'm seeing that is extremely lopsided. So 84% of the money is on the under in this game.
I like that. I don't hate it.
No, and I feel like 50 is a good number for this game. I think it's very fair. Like I could see a, I don't know, a 24-21, 24-23 type game, and it'd be an entertaining game, right? So I'll go with the under in this game. I think we're going to be slightly under that 50. And there was reports of rain in this game. I don't know if that's accurate or if the weather's changed, but I did remember reading about that. But I like the
78% chance.
Yeah, so that's still probably likely. So I like the Chargers to cover the 3. I think it's going to be a close game. I do like the Bengals to win. I feel like the Bengals are getting right on that ship. I feel like they're turning around, and I think they're going to be ready to go because they're like no one really talks about them. They still think they're the same old Bengals, but they're in the thick of the playoff, the thick of the division hunt. Actually, they have a real shot at winning their division. And Joe Burrow's playing some good football. Joe Mixon, I think if it wasn't for Jonathan Taylor, a lot more people would be talking about Joe Mixon and what he's been doing, which is fantastic too. But it's just Jonathan Taylor's been on a wrecking ball. So I'm going to go with the Bengals to win, but I think it's going to be close. So I do like the Chargers +3, and I'm going to go with the under 50.
So I'm fading the Chargers for sure here. We mentioned, earlier Cardinals coming to the Midwest, warm weather to cold weather, etc. Very similar circumstance here. Heavy rain. I don't love the Chargers rushing defense. You're just talking about Joe Mixon. I think everybody and their mother will be talking about Joe Mixon come tomorrow. He has a matchup up against the last ranking rushing defense in the Chargers. I think it's going to be a big game for him. I would actually recommend probably fading Joe Burrow in this one. The Chargers, oddly enough, they have a top 5 passing defense. It's crazy when you look at it because you look at these scores and you're just like, oh, well, yeah, firing up Burrow here. Oh, gunslinging game, high total. The weather, for sure, is going to push me to the under here. I like the Bengals outright, and I think that they can cover. I really feel like they're going to put the ball on the ground. There's going to be a lot of heavy Mixon usage today, especially in the red zone. We saw that last week. We saw him finishing. So I like him a lot this week. I like the Bengals. Give me them to win. Give me them to cover, and I will also take the under.
Sounds good.
All right, next up, we've got the Giants traveling to the Dolphins. Giants coming in as road dogs, +6 on the spread, +220 on the money line. Oh, my goodness, the over-under is at 39.5 points. The Mike Glennon effect. Too good to be true?
No, I think the number is just right. I just think it's so right. Yeah, I mean, this game I think is just going to be ugly. I think it's just going to be the Dolphins dominating. Dolphins have won 4 in a row. Mike Glennon hasn't played. So I don't know how the guy's still in the league. But I mean, I just
sees
don't
over
see
everyone. That's why, Imran. He sees over everyone. He's the watcher,
and he still throws it to the wrong team. Like his guy,
he sees them more clearly.
He's garbage. Yeah. So a lot of money is on the under in this game. About 70% of the bets have gone on the under. I feel good about it though. Like I just don't see the Giants doing anything. Like I really don't know. I think they're doing anything. And going into Miami's defense is really good. We saw them make Cam look like a high school player last week. And like Glennon's awful. He's a statue. I mean, if you have some props, I've been thinking about the bets I'm going to make today. I'm definitely going to take, add Glennon to throw an interception to one of my parlays because I think that's going to be good money. I think he's just going to be lost and clueless out there.
How about 2?
I'm debating it because I think they're going to get down early, and I think he hasn't played in a while, man. And I just think that game's going to be bad.
I agree with you. I'm really not going to touch this one. The Dolphins at -260 for Mike Glennon starting.
I'll take that. Pretty good. I'll take that straight up. Not mess with the points. Just take that. Maybe take the under if you want something safe. But I think that them winning straight up, I think 260 is a really good value.
Yeah, but full disclosure, I took the -6 this morning already before we got on. So I feel really comfortable with that as well. You're getting half that value back. It's at -114.
Yeah.
I like, what are the Giants going to do? Who's going to score points? I'd put them at 9 points probably, ceiling. You know what I mean? I guess I should be taking the under.
They're cracking double digits, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I should just be taking my money and throwing it on under 39.5 or buy up to 40.
This game looks like a 28-7 game.
What's the weather? What's the weather like in that game? What's the weather down in Miami right now? That's a good question too.
Give me a second.
I got it here. 27 and 80. No precep. So yeah, it's
80. Yeah, no rain, light wind. 81 degrees though. That tends to mess up a lot of teams when they go to Miami.
God bless you, Miami.
Yeah, that messes up a lot of teams. I know that used to be the old joke when Brady was on the Patriots still. He would always lose at Miami in December. Like, always would happen, no matter how bad they were, no matter if it was Jay Cutler playing or Tannehill playing, he would always lose that game.
I think the last one that he had was that one where they had Gronk playing center field. Do you remember that?
Yep. And it's just it's hard, man. Like, it's hard. Like, you go in there, 81 degrees, and the way that stadium's designed, you're sitting right into the sun. And with all the pads on, it feels like 90. And, like, Yeah, I'm actually going to go with the -6, man. I think the Dolphins are going to kick their ass.
Yeah, I took that this morning. I still really, really like the -260. You know, if you're not feeling the Dolphins, if you're thinking the Giants are going to keep it close, then go ahead. By all means, take the money line. If not, if you're with us, take the points. I think that's a really solid pick today.
Yep.
All right, next up here, sorry. We have the football team traveling to Las Vegas. Viva football team. +1.5 on the spread, +105 on the money line, and the over-under is at 48 points. I feel like we can hit the over here. I feel like there's going to be a lot of offense in this game. Imran, what do you think?
I think so too. I like the over in this game. I think it's going to be a very fun game to watch. So in this game currently, you got about 70% of the money is on the under. And 63% of the money is on the Raiders to cover. I mean, I know the Raiders are at home, but it just feels like anytime somebody comes into that stadium, the Raiders get beat. Bengals did it, Bears did it, right? I feel like they have a horrible record at home. I like the football team. They got a lot of good momentum going on right now, right? I think they got 3 straight wins now. They beat the Panthers, the Bucks, and then they just beat the Seahawks last Monday night.
Yep.
I like the football team. Take them to +2.5. Take them on the money line. And I like the over here as well. I mean, I think you're going to see some higher scoring games. Actually, no. I'm going to go with the under here. No Darren Waller. I am really concerned about the Raiders. I know Deshaun Jackson is banged up too. Brian Edwards, Josh Jacobs, and Kenyon Drake to score a lot. I don't see it. So I would go with the under here in the football team.
Oddly enough, I'm going to go the other way. I've been leaning the football team. They've been making me money. You know, typically I stick with teams that have, kept me profitable, but I don't know. I feel like this week on the road, I feel like it's going to be the Raiders show here. And the matchup that's really huge is Derek Carr versus that secondary. Their secondary is one of the worst in the leagues for the football team. Derek Carr's top 3 in total passing yards. Even with Darren Waller in and out of this lineup, he's been able to, get solid production, whether it's Renfro, whether it's Edwards, Djax now coming on. I know he's coming into this game questionable, but they have options. I feel like this is still going to be the Raiders game, but I do like the points. Give me the total here. Give me the over. Give me the Raiders, and of course the Raiders to cover. But obviously, you just when it's that low, just take the money line, guys. If you like the football team, I don't hate it. Great, take the +105. But I'm riding with the Raiders this week. I think that's some good value for a team that's has a very potent passing offense. But Heineke, he's been rolling. He's been keeping drives alive. So it's really hard to have a complete confidence one over the other, but I still trust the Raiders just a little bit more. All right, next up we have the Jags and the Rams. Big spread. Jaguars, road dogs coming into Los Angeles, +13 on the spread, +520 on the money line, and the over-under is at 48 points. I am taking the under here. I don't know if the Jags hit double digits this week. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm taking the under, and I'm taking the Rams to cover. I think the Rams are just chomping at the bit to beat the shit out of somebody. They've just lost 3 in a row. Like I mentioned, they were 7-1. Seemed like Super Bowl was already in their plans, and now they haven't won it in a month. This is just what the doctor ordered. I think they're going to beat the shit out of the Jags, and I think that defense is just going to tee off on Trevor Lawrence. Also, I like that prop as well. Trevor Lawrence throwing an interception. They're going to be trailing, and that defense, I think, is going to be sitting on some passes.
Yeah, so I took that total up to 50 and smashed the under on that. 30 makes you 20. Trying to keep it simple here, get a little bit value back. I don't expect the Jaguars to score points. Even if the Rams do beat the front door in, I don't suspect them to go over 35. So I really like the under there. Of course, we like the Rams to win, and I like the Rams to cover. I know it's a huge spread. I won't be betting my personal money on it. I am betting the under, but big spreads, I don't like them. I've lost games this year +17. In games that shouldn't have happened. Like it was the Falcons and Tampa Bay to lose +17 in that matchup. I needed Matt Ryan to throw 3 straight interceptions on 3 straight throws. Learn my lesson. I'm done with big spreads. If it can't happen, it will happen, especially if I'm betting on it. I assure you. The other, 2 days ago, I went 6-2. One loss was by 1 shot on goal, and another loss was by 2 points in basketball. Yeah. If it can go wrong, it will. All right. Next up, we've got the Ravens traveling to the Steelers. Ravens come in as road favorites, -4.5 on the spread, -207 on the money line, and the over-under is at 44 points. Steelers are playing at home. I feel like they have to have some type of manufactured drives or plays or just a game script that's going to put them in a good position to come out early with success. So I'll take the over, but I still don't trust the Steelers to win. I feel like they'll have some magic planned. You know, maybe the first quarter they're looking good, but it won't be anything that's sustainable across 4 quarters. Give me the Ravens to cover. Give me the Ravens to win, and I'll take the over 44. What do you like here?
Yeah, so 88% of the money is on the Ravens covering the 3.5, and 82% of the money is on the under. I'm on the under, and I'm also on the Ravens as well. I usually hate going with the public, but in this game, the Steelers are banged up. They have no Cam Hayward on defense. Ben's talking about leaving the Steelers after this year or retiring. Like, I feel like he's just not there.
It's the rally cry.
He fucking sucks, man. He should have quit last
year. Come on,
year.
guys. I'm not going to play here anymore. Play good now.
Yeah,
that's the rally cry.
Yeah, I mean, for this one, I'm just not going to overthink it. I think the Steelers maybe, if there's some places I think are still offering them at 4.5, if you can get that, I think that's decent value. But I think the Ravens are just going to win this game. I think it's going to be an ugly, like low-scoring game. These two teams, I just don't see how the Ravens defense is decent enough to, I think, to keep the Steelers in check. You know, they're complaining about having music at practice this week. That seems like a team that's like distracted. So I'm just going to go with the Ravens and the under.
Hey, man. Brian Kelly, he likes to play some music there at Notre Dame. Chase Claypool just ain't used to these quiet practices, all right? He likes to get out there, get his crawfish going, get his music on.
Oh, that dude can go fuck himself. What Brian Kelly? Hey, how about former Bear, Marcus Freeman, head coach? He never played a game, but I think he was a 5th round pick of the Bears in 2009 from Ohio State.
I'm with it. I'm with it. The team seems like they really respond to him. I'm hoping the theme stays for the Bears. I'm pulling for Sean Desai. I'm gonna start the petition maybe this week or next. Get it out there. Oh, to next head coach.
Oh hell no, he's god awful.
You don't like Sean?
I hate Sean Desai. I think he's terrible, man. I mean, like, I don't want to go off on a tangent, but the defensive, like, the fact that you let Tyler Huntley go 80 yards and you let Ben Noodle arm Roethlisberger go like 70 yards for those back-to-back drives, that was.
Well, they were in a very good position to win that game because the defense still showed up on many, many other drives. It's still the NFL at the end of the day, and we've been hurt. We don't have our best defender.
I mean, you can say that, but I mean, you got back-to-back weeks where your offense gave you a go-ahead score, and then if you go back further, again, I don't want to go on a tangent, but like the Niners and then the Packers game, Fields and the offense score like a go-ahead touchdown or tying touchdown, and the defense just falls apart. Well, I know there's a lot of injuries.
So who do you want for DC then? Because if he's not going to be the head coach someday, why is he even still around? I mean, he's had plenty of opportunities to leave and have just more opportunities elsewhere.
Well, I mean, they believed in him, but I think you see this year that he's just, I mean, there's promise there, but I don't want him as a head coach. I mean, as a DC, sure. I mean, as an assistant coach, maybe, but I mean, whoever the new head coach is, because I know Nagy's gone, they're probably going to bring in their own guy, whoever that is.
I've heard Sean Payton's name on the short list. I've heard Greg Roman's name. I mean, are those anything that's going to blow your hair back? Like, is Sean Payton going to come in and make us a Super Bowl contender?
I mean, he's going to run a competent offense, I feel like. I think he's kind of seeing he's in hell right now. All the years of pushing back the salary cap, it's time to pay the piper, and they don't have a quarterback. I've heard Ryan Day's name rumored a little bit, where he may make the jump to the pros. I'm kind of iffy on that. Like, I'm not sure how I feel about that. Brian Daboll, Kellen Moore, Byron Leftwich. Leftwich has been really intriguing to me. I've been thinking about that. I want to see what he would do with the offense. And everybody's like, oh, he did a lot with Brady. Yeah, but before that with Winston also had 5,000 yards and 30 touchdowns with him too. So I like the concept there. I think it's got to be all around developing Fields, whoever that is. I mean, if you can find a guy like a Mike Tomlin, or actually you were talking about Sean Desai, right? The guy that should have been their head coach was Brandon Staley, who should have never left the damn building.
Well, hey, if Brandon Staley was there, then yeah, I mean, we'd probably be looking a lot better this season too. But that's not the situation we're in. And that dude's not going anywhere. But yeah, no, Brandon Staley that'd been perfect.
That was the guy.
Or Joe Lombardi. Joe Lombardi have been just fine.
Yeah.
All right, we caught up in a little bit. That's all right. We got to get down to it every now and again. All right, let's get back to it here. Lost my spot. Next up, we have the Seahawks at the Broncos. I'm just trying to get the line back up.
Seahawks at Niners.
Sorry, Seahawks at Niners.
Home against the Niners. Niners at Seahawks.
Niners at Seahawks coming in as road favorites, -3 on the spread, -151 on the money line. Over unders at 45 points. Keeping it simple, give me the under, give me the Niners, and the win and spread.
This is tough. I like the under because I think there's supposed to be a lot of weather impacting this game. I think there's going to be a storm that's coming on from the West Coast to the East Coast this week. So I like the
Yep.
under in this game. And I feel like these two teams always play really close, no matter who's playing. I'm going to take the Niners to win. Like, I want to say the Seahawks maybe cover, but like they haven't shown me anything that gives me any confidence. They had some fluke shit happen last week against the football team that made that game a little bit closer than it actually was. Like, so I'll go with the Niners to win in the under.
If you had bet the Seattle Seahawks on the under every week this season, you'd only lose one time. 1-9-1 to the over this season for the Seahawks. If there's not a more trending pick in the NFL right now, guys, take the Seahawks on the under. 49ers are surging. Their offense looks great.
Good data right there.
Yeah, their defense is tuned up. I really feel like this is probably one of the safer picks of the day. Is actually just a same gamer. Just take the Niners money line and take the under. I think it's going to be a really easy hit. Let's see. We got Matt back in the chat saying, "What's good, guys?" Last flex spot here: Sony Michel, Odell, or Rex. Yikes. Man, Sony Michel. I guess the safest upside. Does that sound right? Safest upside, Sony Michel.
I think so. Odell, I'm not sure if he's going to play. Rex Burkhead. I just feel like that Texans backfield is it's hard to figure out. Is it going to be Burkhead? It can be David Johnson. I go Sony Michel, Burkhead, then Odell.
I feel the exact same way. Burkhead's still getting a really good volume. Like he's going to get at bare minimum 15 touches in that game, minimum. So still have to put some respect on his name. Crazy, he's still playing. All right, next up, we've got the Broncos traveling to the Chiefs. Broncos come in as 8.5-point dogs, plus 315 on the money line, and the total is at 46.5 points. Man, these Denver Broncos, they've been a tough team to gauge. They're beating teams like the Cowboys. They're beating teams like the Chargers. But then at one point, I think they lost 5 games in a row this season.
After starting 3-0.
Yeah, exactly. Which Broncos are showing up this week, Imran?
I think the Chiefs are going to win here. But I think depending on where you can find the number, I think it's down at 8.5 now. It was 9.5. I like that 9.5 number. I think they'll keep it close. I think the Chiefs will win. I like the under in this game too. The under opened up at 50. It's down to 46 or 46.5 at most places. So that one I'm kind of pausing on because I might take that over because that's significantly lower. So I might go the over in this game and then the Chiefs to cover.
I like the over as well. The Broncos have been showing up. I feel like they can do enough on their side of the ball to score points. And same thing with the Chiefs. They've definitely caught some urgency in these past weeks here. So give me the over 46.5. I have the Chiefs winning outright in like one of my 6-game parlays. I went with like really heavy favorites, so I like them to win. I trust the Broncos to cover. And if you don't like the 8.5, I take it up to 9 or 10, and I think I'll sleep easy. They've been playing really well. I think that they can keep this one close.
Yep.
All right. Lastly here, we had Matt saying doesn't look like David Johnson's going to play. Yeah, well, Burkhead is definitely more of a live option, but Darrell Henderson may not play either. So if Henderson's out and you're looking at both Michel or Burkhead with a full workload, I still like Michel more. Still more likely to probably find pay dirt in that Rams offense. All right, and then lastly here, big one. We've got the Patriots traveling to Buffalo, coming in as road dogs, plus 2.5 on the spread, plus 122 on the money line, and the over-under is at 41 points. I ain't scared of that 41. Give me the over. Give me the over. Patriots have been scoring points. The Bills will find a way to put up points, potentially playing from behind early in this one. We'll see what Bills team decides to show up this week, but call me crazy. Call me nuts. But I like the Patriots. Give me the plus 122 on the money line. They're surging. They're flying.
Yeah, I think so too. I think I'm probably going to lean the Patriots too. Definitely like the plus 3.5, and I like them to win. I'm going to take the under in this game because I believe from what I read on yesterday, I think snow might be in the forecast for tomorrow. Like I mentioned, that storm that's going to be starting in Seattle today is going to make its way to the East Coast this week. So I think you can see some weather, and I think both teams have decent defenses. And the Patriots have an efficient offense, not an explosive offense, where they move the ball, but they're not going to be dropping 40 on anybody. So Patriots and the under.
I don't know. I feel like I'm looking at the weather here. It says it could be really, really cold. It could go as low as -3. So that would not be great. But I don't know. I feel like even with the snow, like it's blowing around, it's crazy. I still feel like we can see a 24-21 game either direction here. I don't know. I still like the Patriots though. 8-4 ATS this season. Good teams win, great teams cover. Bills got it going. Buffalo Bills 7-4, but we've talked about this in many weeks now. They just cannot beat legit teams. Like they are struggling massively up against competent defenses and offenses. So Patriots have won 8 in a row, 7.
Yeah, like you said, what we always says about the Bills, like everybody's favorite, but until they beat a team with a winning record, like the Saints don't count. Saints didn't have Kamara or Ingram, like or anybody really, right? And they beat up on them. That's cool. But like, I need to see them do this like the Patriots. I want to see how this is a big litmus test for the Bills. It's also kind of a mental challenge too. Like this has been the boogeyman for the longest time, right? Like, are they ready to do this? Are they ready to take over? Because we all thought last year the Patriots are done. Well, now Bill's got Mac Jones, and it looks like he's reloaded and ready to go.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one, but by far the most intriguing game on the board for sure. I'm very excited for that matchup.
I'm excited too.
AFC East champ coming out of that game. Well, the leader. They're playing for the division lead here, and if the Patriots take it, they get this team again in another couple of weeks. I think it's another 3 or 4 weeks they're going to play them again. So it's going to be really interesting, and it's going to be very pivotal in our fantasy matchups as well. This week's going to be tough, especially if you have to start one of those Buffalo running backs like we mentioned. If you might be deciding between Damian Harris or Ramondre Stevenson, whatever it is. Do you feel comfortable starting those guys like Kendrick Bourne, Jacoby Myers this week, Hunter Henry, who's been like super touchdown dependent, but he's been hitting his marks?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one, man. It's going to be a tough couple of weeks to see how this all shapes out.
All right, very good, very good. Let's head out here. You have anything to share before we dip out for the day?
No, best of luck to everyone. I know we're getting into fantasy playoffs just a couple of weeks away. Everybody's right at the crunch. We saw a few people in the chat, getting ready, in our dynasty league. I'm hoping to bounce back. I had a couple of bad lucks on my team. I lost Devontae Parker, Calvin Ridley situation, lost Chase Edmonds, but I got lucky. I had Alexander Madison and Ingram stashed away, so I got a little bit of juice. Nice. So we'll see, man. We'll see.
Yep, sounds good. Best of luck to everybody today in your picks. Be sure to smash the like button on your way out. Take care, be good, and we'll be back tomorrow for Monday Night Football. See you.
See you.